Hey, what is up, everyone? I'm here to give you some coverage from some Raws before Money in the Bank, and I'm going to cover Money in the Bank itself in this video, because this week is SummerSlam, so I want to try to catch up on wrestling before SummerSlam. I actually want to try to watch SummerSlam live this Sunday. I don't know how likely that is, but we'll have to wait and see. Right now I'm in North Carolina, by the way, just so that, cause for the different scenery, you probably won't even notice though, because you can't tell what the scenery is, but you've probably seen it on Facebook and everything. Where it is, it just got really bright in here. But anyhow, yeah, so I'm going to talk about some stuff from this week's Raw. I'm just a little, not really tired, but I'm just not. I'm kind of relaxing right now, so I've been kind of really trying to think too. Like I've watched Extreme Rules and I watched Raw, and I enjoyed them. So, like, what made me stop watching wrestling? You know, because I really don't have a clue anymore. Like, I don't know if it was all the drama that I went through this year. And wrestling didn't help me get me through it. That I got pissed at wrestling for it, so I just dropped it. I don't know if it was I don't really know. Yeah. Maybe it was because I watched it since 2007 without any breaks. I would always watch everything, and maybe I just needed to take a break from it. Maybe because I've been busy with school too at the same time, so I'm trying to focus on that now. Maybe because too, yeah, I don't know. I kind of really wasn't enjoying the product as much as I was. I wasn't watching the shows live anymore. I completely stopped watching TNA. I completely stopped watching NXT. The only thing I was watching was Monday Night Raw, and I wasn't even watching that live, and I just kind of completely stopped. So, those would be kind of things that add up. But, so I needed to take a break from it, and I actually kind of glad I did, I guess, because now I can look at it in a different light. And I'm actually kind of enjoying getting back into watching it again. So, we're just gonna kind of talk about what happened on this episode of Raw from May 5th, 25th, 2016. I'll just kind of talk about it. So, I'm not only gonna talk about everything that happened in the show. I'm just gonna talk about what I remember. So Seth Rollins came back. This was Seth Rollins, because he had come back at Extreme Rules. This was Seth Rollins' first Raw back since being injured. And he came back and he got a huge pop. He was really over. He was acting like a huge baby face, and I absolutely loved it. And then they decided for no reason to turn him heel, by saying, you know, you guys really missed me. You guys really loved me. And then he kind of like turns on the fans by saying, I do like how he actually was able to get that heat back when he talks about, you know, how he stomped all over the letters, how he what the fans would send him, how he deleted all the emails they sent him and stuff like that. I thought that was good. And he said that he didn't like him when he was WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Hogan Royal of the Month. They didn't treat him with respect. They didn't treat him with respect when he turned his back on the Shield. And he said that he's here to win back his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So the Roman Reigns had come out. They had a face-off, but Rollins escaped, and Shane McMahon made the match for Money in the Bank. I actually liked that segment. I really wish Rollins was a face. I think it makes sense for him to be a face, since he had to go through all that stuff to get the WWE World Heavyweight Championship back. I personally think he should have been a babyface. I think it was time to make that turn. I think they were already in the process. The problem is now, though, it's like the babyface ice is also stacked. You have Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, who isn't a babyface now, but I'm saying back then. But, like, Seth Rollins, I think, was called for a babyface turn, and I think And maybe you could have made Reigns the heel in this scenario, but keep him face, like kind of what you were doing with Styles. But I'm looking forward to seeing, even though the match has already happened, I can't wait to actually sit down and watch Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins on a pay-per-view, because it's a match they've tried to do several times, but then the first time Reigns got injured, and the second time Rollins got injured, and it's a program they haven't gone all the way to, so I can't wait to see that match. And then we had Charlotte turn on Ric Flair for no reason. I didn't like how I didn't think they really made a lot of sense that she turned on Ric Flair for no reason. And Ric Flair, I don't know if he was crying for real or not, because he gets very emotional. So, but Charlotte pretty much went off on him and turned heel on him. I thought that was actually really well done. Actually, I just didn't really think it made a whole lot of sense. It pretty much happened for no reason. It should have happened. Like, if she was going to lose, if she had lost the women's title and turned on him, then that would have made more sense. But pretty much he's the reason she even has kept the title all this time, so it doesn't really make sense that she would turn heel. But so I didn't really think that made any sense at all. The New Day had a match with the Social Outcast and beat him and threw a cake in his face. I thought that was a really funny and enjoyable segment. I'm trying to think what else happened on the show that was anything significant besides the Money in the Bank qualifying matches, because I think those were like the only things. I know they announced that Cena was coming back at the next episode, which I am going to watch. And then they had the Money in the Bank qualifying matches, which I thought were really good matches on the show, and they were matches where the wins mattered. You had Cesaro beating Miz, which I thought was awesome. I think it made sense. He's in the match. You had Cesaro beating Miz. Apollo Crews lose to Chris Jericho. Because earlier in the night, Sheamus had lost to Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn and Sheamus hates this new generation, or new era as they're calling it, which really isn't much of a new era. I don't really notice anything different. And then Sheamus attacks Apollo Crews. I still think it's kind of weird though that I thought at the time it was weird that Apollo Crews was up on the main roster because he was on NXT only since the summer, and he really didn't do a lot in NXT. All he really did was have matches with like guys like Tyler Breeze and stuff like that, and he really didn't get to do a whole lot down on NXT. I think it was kind of a little early to call him up. I think he was ready to be called up, though, to be honest. He seems like he's main roster ready, but I just think it's weird, and I like the way they're booking him. But yeah, so yeah, Sheamus attacks Apollo Crews, which caused Chris Jericho to be able to beat him. He really didn't sell the attack backstage that he got backstage, which I didn't like. And then Chris Jericho actually was all bandaged up. He actually was more injured than Apollo Crews, so you could say Chris Jericho had the one to fight the odds. Then Sami Zayn, like I said, Sami Zayn beat Sheamus to qualify in a good match. Dean Ambrose beat Dolph Ziggler in a fine match. I really haven't been enjoying Dean Ambrose lately for some reason. I thought his match at WrestleMania wasn't very good. I thought his match at Payback was just okay to decent. I just haven't really been enjoying Ambrose as much. I don't know, like I just don't really enjoy him that much. I don't really care for him that much. And Dolph Ziggler obviously is just. I definitely think he has his passion kind of went back up for liking wrestling again. There was a point where I thought he didn't really obviously he didn't really want to be there anymore, but he resigned his contract, and it's like I think he's just doing it for the money. But I actually think he's a little bit passionate about it. I think he's just going to be where he is. He's not going to ever get up to with the brand split now. I don't know, but so I'm probably much talking, but I don't know if he's ever going to be a top guy anymore. Maybe with the brand split, but I'm not sure. But they had a fine match. And even he's continuing with his feud with Baron Corbin, which is I think is from what I'm seeing. Like I said, some of this stuff I'm talking it as if it's happening. So he's continuing with his feud with Baron Corbin, which is stupid because they've had enough matches. I think it's time to go do something else. And then in the main event, well, AJ Styles had come out and talked about, you know, how he came close to winning the title, how Roman Reigns is good, but he's not phenomenal. But if it had not been for the Usos or Gallows and Anderson, he would have won the title. And then Gallows and Anderson come out, and I really love the dynamics of that. How Gallows and Anderson talk about, you know, how get upset that they're saying that it's their fault, and if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have even AJ Styles wouldn't have even got to WWE or made it to Extreme Rules. And AJ Styles said, professionally, we should just go our own separate ways, but we should still be brothers. But then they end off their friendship, and AJ Styles says, okay, you know, I get that, then get out of my ring. And then he has a match with Kevin Owens in an incredible matchup. I thought that was a really good matchup. I thought this was the match of the night. Just Kevin Owens is just great. I think he should be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And Kevin Owens actually ended up winning this matchup. He ended up powerbombing Owens on the steel steps on the outside, and then he hit it again in the ring. And I thought that was good. When I'd heard about that at the time, I was kind of like, well, why isn't AJ Styles qualifying? But I'm not going to talk about what they did do with him. I'm not sure how I feel about what they ended up doing with him, because it's good in a sense, but also bad and scary. So I'll talk about it because I am going to watch the next episode of Raw. And I'll say this too, like, I also kind of like to look at wrestling. I'm not a sports guy, but I do. It's two of the best. It is a sport in a sense. It's two of the best athletes fighting it out to see who the best is, and that was the case with the Kevin Owens AJ Styles match. And it makes sense for Kevin Owens to be in the match instead of AJ Styles because Sami Zayn's in the match and they're still trying to do their feud. So if Kevin Owens didn't qualify, it wouldn't really make any sense. If that makes, I guess, some sense. But yeah, that was really all. I actually did, but I enjoyed that episode of Raw. I thought it was really good. It was a good way to set up the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so I liked it. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to watch the next episode of Monday Night Raw now. Okay, so now on to Raw from May 30th, I think. It was like the Memorial Day episode of Raw. Let me just check to make sure I got the date right. Yeah, May 30th. This actually was a pretty good episode of Raw. I thought they did a really good job setting up Money in the Bank. Just some things I liked, some things I didn't like. I'm going to talk about the things I liked. I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like, and I'm going off the top of my head. So the things I liked the kind of like the way, I thought it kind of started awkwardly. You know, it has Shane McMahon come out, and it has Stephanie McMahon come out. They're doing this power struggle, and they talk about, you know, the how SmackDown's going live, and they promote the brand, and then the New Day comes out and they promote the brand extension, which I thought the New Day was hilarious. I actually thought it was funny when Xavier Woods and Big E were making fun of Kofi Kingston, saying that he's been in this company for like a decade, and Xavier Woods said he was watching it when he was in middle school. I thought that was hilarious. Because I don't even think that's even true anyways. So then, you know, they do this weird dance-off, and Shane dances, but then Stephanie never gets to dance because the Vaudevillains come out to interrupt them because they're going to have a match with them. So I thought the story was awkward. I thought so then it led to a match between New Day and Vaudevillains. I thought this was a really good matchup. I think the match at Extreme Rules was a little bit better, but this was a good matchup. And it ends with the Anderson and Gallows laying him out from behind, completely blindsiding him when the Vaudevillains attack him. So I think it was a little soon maybe to go to this point because because I think this is kind of a thing you should have maybe waited for SummerSlam. I don't know, like I said, as of this recording, I know somewhat what the SummerSlam code is, but I'm saying I don't know like the exact code, but I don't know but I think that's just something you should have maybe waited for. Maybe give the Anderson and Gallows maybe a little bit more credible wins and stuff, and then you go to this point. But they lay him out. They lay out the New Day, and I thought they looked really good and really strong. So maybe they'll build into a triple threat tag title match, with the New Day. Like I said, I don't know because I'm just going. But with the New Day, Anderson and Gallows and Vaudevillains, maybe do a 4-way because Enzo and Cass, Enzo Amore had his first match back with that night, and they beat the Dudley Boys. So maybe throw Enzo and Cass into the match, and so it would make sense to have a storyline reason to go with Vaudevillains versus Enzo and Cass. Just a thought. Unless they don't really know if Enzo Amore is going to be ready after that concussion, because he really just came back. So you can also throw maybe the Lucha Dragons in there. It's always something. Then we had a match between Rusev and Zack Ryder that Rusev won. Pretty much squashed him. It kind of sucks for Zack Ryder because they just job him out all the time. They always give him a moment. They gave him the moment at WrestleMania where he won the IC title, and it was this big, great moment, but then they just take it off the next night, and he actually really is talent. He really has been getting the shit in the stink, but I commend him for sticking with this company for this long as he has, and for really staying passionate about it. But Rusev squashed him. I'm really confused on what they're doing with Rusev, because it's like they pretty much are rehashing what they already did with Rusev a year later. It's so weird, because like he's the United States champion, and he's doing the whole "I'm better than America" type of thing. Feels like I'm watching wrestling from 2015 again. Kind of is weird. But then Titus O'Neil comes out and defends him. I thought Titus O'Neil was really good and aggressive here, and I like that they are going to have a feud. I think that could be pretty good. And you have Titus O'Neil defending America, which is nice. And I think that's cool. Because this was the Memorial Day edition, so they did stuff like having Cena say a speech about Memorial Day, playing the video itself. So it was stuff like that. And Titus O'Neil I thought was good. This would have been so much better, though, if this was Titus O'Neil's return to Raw after his suspension. Like maybe wait and hold off and return on Titus O'Neil, because that would have made it so much better. And then other things that happened that I remember is they did a small thing with Apollo Crews, building up to have his thing with Sheamus, have his feud by saying that Sheamus is a bully and he is afraid that he's going to have his spot taken by having the Big Show talk to him. I thought that was cool. Then something that really pissed me off is Roman Reigns comes out to build up his match with Seth Rollins, and then Roman Reigns kind of talks about how Seth Rollins turned his back on him 2 years ago and sold out, and now when he was in the Shield, and now he claims that he's the man. And he says he says that he's not going to take the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from you, so why don't you come out and take it? So then Seth Rollins comes out, and he acts like he's going to go to the ring and just face off with Roman Reigns. But then he leaves. Then he gets the mic, and he grabs the mic, and acts like he's going to say something. And then he doesn't say anything. Then he goes to the ring. But then he doesn't fight him. Grabs the mic, acts like he's going to say something. He repeats this like 4 times. And then he just leaves, and Roman Reigns stands tall, but then he comes back out, and then he doesn't do anything, and then Roman Reigns stands tall again. It was just kind of like, I get what they were trying to go for, I guess. They're trying not to have these two touch. Maybe wait for the pay-per-view, which I've always said that WWE should do that. But it doesn't work in this case, and let me explain a couple of reasons why. One, because they did it so much that, like, if they had just did it once, I would have been like, okay, that was fine, but it was just kind of like awkward in a way. Like, this is Rollins is going to the ring and then he's coming back. It's kind of like it was just an awkward way that they set that up. I think if he had done it, he did it multiple times, and it's like you don't need to do that with these two. This is, because with these two, they should be coming into physical blows with each other because they can't stand each other. Seth Rollins, like he said, turned his back on Roman Reigns. He cashed in the Money in the Bank on him at WrestleMania 31 during his match with Brock Lesnar and cost him the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They have been through wars together, you know, and they've known each other. This should be something that it should be tough to tear these guys apart. They should want to get at each other. Roman Reigns won the Seth Rollins had to vacate the WWE World Heavyweight Championship without losing it, and Roman Reigns pretty much won the title but didn't beat Rollins for the championship. Rollins attacked, blindsided Roman Reigns. You know, these guys they should be wanting to tear each other's throats off. You should have them trying to tear each other's throats off and having security pull them off. I did not like this at all. You know, it was stupid. You know, plus it's like we've seen them touch anyways. You know, they've had matches before, so what's the difference? Like, I get like it's like supposed to be that old school feel, but it doesn't. In this case, it didn't work. What else happened on Raw that I like to talk about? The 6-man tag team match. It was the main event, but I want to talk about that now because because the big thing I'm going to talk about, obviously, and everyone knows where I'm going with this. So obviously they had all the Money in the Bank participants compete in a 6-man tag team match. It was Ambrose, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn versus Del Rio, who qualified for the Money in the Bank contract by beating Zack Ryder, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho. A nice way to build up the Money in the Bank match. You know, there's not a lot of storyline that needs to go into building a Money in the Bank match. You just kind of, you know, have the Money in the Bank match and you just go with it. And I liked it. You know, I like the Sami Zayn. I think he's going to do great in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I liked Kevin Owens. I've seen this match with Finn Balor in the ladder match. I thought he was great. Obviously Jericho, we've seen classic ladder matches from him, like with Chris Benoit at the Royal Rumble. But he invented the Money in the Bank ladder match. Del Rio's won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Dean Ambrose, we saw his match with Seth Rollins in the Money in the Bank. Even though I haven't been a huge fan of him, but it's pretty hard to have a bad Money in the Bank match. Anyway, like, it's hard to have a bad Money in the Bank match. I don't recall really a bad one. You could say 2011 with Del Rio because of all the botches that was in it. You could say the 2010 one was a little boring. The one when Cena won the title for the 15th time was, you could say, was boring. But it's not bad. Like, there's never a bad Money in the Bank match. It's really hard to have a bad like if it's a multi-man ladder match, it's really hard to suck, because you have enough guys in that match that can really pull some stuff, that can do big spots, and everyone will be happy about it. That's kind of how multi-man ladder matches work. I kind of hate that they do them all the time, especially now. Like, what I hate about that they have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, if they're just putting a ladder match, because it seems like it's going to be a new thing every year where they put a ladder match out for the IC title, or they're going to do it every year. Why not just put the Money in the Bank match back at WrestleMania? That's kind of like my thing, because the past couple of years they've done multi-man ladder matches for the IC title. If they're going to do multi-man ladder matches, why not put the Money in the Bank pay-per-view back at WrestleMania and bring back King of the Ring or something? I don't know, just kind of a thing I question, because I think it's better suited for WrestleMania, because that's where Edge made his name with the Money in the Bank. That's how Shelton Benjamin's made his name, CM Punk. You know, it's a nice way to get guys on the show. You can still do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal if you want. It's a win-win. So I didn't really understand that, but Ambrose's team wins. I thought Ambrose looked good. I think Ambrose, like, I don't know what's up with Ambrose, though, lately. Like, when it comes to his one-on-one matches, I haven't been enjoying him really as much. But when he has, like, tag team matches, he really nails them. He's a hot tag kind of guy, but I don't know. It's just something about Ambrose I'm not enjoying lately. You know, like I said, his match at WrestleMania flopped. I thought his match at Payback was just okay at best. And then his match at Extreme Rules sucked. You know, it just sucked. So I don't know what's going on with Ambrose. And I could say, well, it's the position that they put him in. But it just feels like it's him. It's something wrong with Ambrose. It doesn't feel like this is the same Dean Ambrose I would say from 2 years ago. I just kind of think something's wrong with Ambrose. Because Roman Reigns, I've actually been kind of digging. Been digging Roman Reigns. I don't know why they're booing him. I kind of dig Roman Reigns in a way. I thought, improved a lot. And Seth Rollins has really morphed into a wrestler. But Dean Ambrose, there's something's wrong with him. Like, I don't know if he's improved. It feels like he's been worse. I can't really explain it. But like I said, maybe as I watch Money in the Bank, as I watch Battleground, as I watch SummerSlam, maybe I'll see something in Dean Ambrose. But I just can't appeal myself to Dean Ambrose right now. I can't. It's hard to explain. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about for Raw. They had a women's match. They talked about how Charlotte turned on Ric Flair, and then they had Dana Brooke versus Natalya, with Dana Brooke winning in a bad match, and then Becky Lynch comes out and makes the save. It's all fine. I think they're setting up to say be like a fatal 4-way match for the women's title. Well, you know what I mean. But I'm talking about this as if it's either a 4-way match for the women's title, or like maybe a triple threat #1 contenders or something. Trying to think of other matches that happened on this show that I liked. I think that's it. So then we had the big moment of the show where John Cena returns. It was hyped up for months and months and months. Well, for weeks that he was coming back. You know, he had a torn rotator cuff, but really he's been kind of out of wrestling for a while. He left wrestling in October, and did his TV show. Came back for like a couple of weeks in December. Then he got his torn rotator cuff. Came back at WrestleMania, but then we didn't see him again. So John Cena is now finally back. I don't know what's been going on with Cena. I've been talking to people like not only James as much, but like other people. And Cena's, I think, starting to fade away from wrestling a little bit, because I don't really see him there as much now. He's not really. It's hard to explain, because I can't really say that he's not as big of a presence on the show, because when he's there, but he's doing more. But he's doing more celebrity appearances now. He's doing more TV shows. He's doing more movies. He's doing a lot of that type of stuff. I think he's starting to fade away. I think within a couple of years, John Cena is going to completely be out of wrestling. I think, not either in a full-time basis, maybe. But a stretch, maybe WrestleMania 33 he'll be gone. Maybe have one final match with Undertaker. That'd be awesome. But then anyhow, so John Cena comes out. He cuts the big American speech promo, the Memorial Day, and then he talks about how he hears about this new era, and everybody thinks that he's just that he doesn't have it anymore. He's just a beat up old man. But he said that I'm still hungry, and and any young star has to go through me to get to the top. Kind of the same speech that he cuts. Then AJ Styles comes out. What you really feel this moment, because these two guys were two faces of different company. John Cena, face of WWE. AJ Styles, face of TNA. So AJ Styles comes out, and the crowd goes nuts. They chant "Let's go AJ, let's go Cena" for about maybe 5 minutes, and they just don't say anything, because you can feel that because these are huge stars in the wrestling business. And AJ Styles talks about how he respects everything that John Cena has done. He respects the fact that his dedication to the business, and he welcomes him back, and they shake hands. And then Anderson and Gallows come out, and they talk crap about AJ, saying you wanted to go our own path, but it looks like you're just kissing up to the big star, but we're here to kick ass. So they act like they're gonna get in the ring and take out Cena, and AJ Styles and Cena get ready to fight him off. Cena takes off his shirt, and then AJ Styles blindsides John Cena. And he just beats the crap. Like, the club beats the crap out of Cena. AJ Styles helps him. And that was awesome. I thought it was good. And AJ Styles turned heel. I don't know how I feel about AJ Styles being a heel now, because I don't really want to boo AJ Styles. But then again, he's with the club. He's with the old Bullet Club, so that's cool. But I don't know. I don't really want to boo AJ Styles. I want to cheer AJ Styles. It kind of feels like they turned him heel to give him an opponent for Cena. And we know what happens when you go up against John Cena. Alright? We know what happens. Damian Sandow right now is in TNA. and they're gonna make him a TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and you know, Ryback's out of the company, and he's gone up against Cena. Bray Wyatt pretty much turned into a loser. The whole Wyatt family, the whole Nexus stable, Wade Barrett's out of the company. A lot of the Nexus is out of the company. The Miz went right back down to the mid-card. Rusev is right back in the same spot he was in last year. He's pretty much gone back in time to 2015, if you want to put it that way. So a lot of people have not fared well going up against Cena. And that could continue for days and days and days. So that kind of concerns me. I hope they get it right with AJ Styles. Kevin Owens is another example, still in the mid-card. You know, even though, and he's kind of the biggest example in a way, because even though he beat Cena clean, everyone thought he was going somewhere. Nope. You know, loses to Cena twice. You know, loses to Cena by a pinfall, and then he's tapping out to Cena at the next pay-per-view. So everyone that goes up against Cena does not come out looking a winner. So the same case is probably going to await AJ Styles, but I really hope not, because I would suck. Because AJ Styles is way too talented. Maybe not as talented as Kevin Owens, I don't think. I think Kevin Owens is a little more talented, but he is a guy that he is a huge name in the wrestling business, a name that I followed in TNA, and I would really, really hate to see AJ Styles get buried by Cena. I would really hate to see that, and I hope that doesn't happen. But anyhow, obviously, this was a great episode of Monday Night Raw. I thought they was a productive episode. They built some, even though it was a Memorial Day, I think they're building up to AJ Styles probably facing Cena at Money in the Bank, which I knew they were going there before I saw this episode of Raw. I already known that, and then they are building up. They build up the Money in the Bank fine. They build up the title match, I guess, fine. I don't really like. It was a fine episode of Raw. It was fine. And I'm now gonna watch the go home show of Monday Night Raw for Money in the Bank. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Raw from June 13th, 2016. I didn't mean for it to take this long to get this video up. I'm hoping to have this video up by tomorrow or Tuesday, one of those days, but it depends. I've just been really busy because I've been having a lot of fun here in North Carolina and all that stuff. So I just kind of want to talk about some stuff that happened on Raw, maybe do some predictions for Money in the Bank, even though it's already happened. But like I said, I haven't seen anything, so it's as if it's new to me, because it is. Like I said, not going to talk about everything, but going to talk about some things, mainly stuff that is being built up to Money in the Bank. Rusev attacked Titus O'Neil on Raw. I'm kind of mad about what happened with the, because Titus, I didn't really go into detail with it. Titus O'Neil was supposed to have a match on Raw, but then Rusev attacked him from behind because they've been feuding lately. I talked about that. They've been feuding because Rusev's trashing America, and Titus O'Neil is upset about it, and he's being that American hero to take down Rusev. Like, there's no storyline they do, but they're doing the exact same storyline with Rusev, which is just weird. Normally they do this storyline with a different wrestler, but it feels like they're right back on point A with Rusev. Like my friend Chris Dog talked about in the Master Soy Wrestling Corner. Point A, point B, then point C. Well, with Rusev, they're back at point A, which I'm kind of mad about, because it kind of just feels like it's a rehash. But Rusev attacked him from behind. I did like that. Made Rusev look strong, built up the match for the pay-per-view, but it's just, the U.S. title doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, I'm going to be honest. That belt doesn't mean shit. Like, John Cena won this title, like, at WrestleMania. Really brought prestige back to that title by doing the U.S. Open Challenge every week. The fact that it was main event in Raws, it was main event in SmackDowns, and he was in legitimate feuds with guys like Rusev and Kevin Owens for the title, and it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's diminished. But yeah, so they're going to have a matchup. I am going to do the predictions, and when I get to that point, I will talk about it. Paige and Charlotte had a match because they're having a Divas tag team match between Becky Lynch and Natalya versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke. and Dana Brooke and no, Natalia and Becky Lynch were on commentary for the match. It was a bad. I mean, it wasn't the greatest match ever. Paige and Charlotte have had better matches. It just wasn't that good. It's just so sad what happened with Paige. She's so talented and can show so much potential in the ring, and she could really develop her character. She talks about how she wants to main event WrestleMania, and it's just not going to happen with this company. It's just not going to happen. And Paige ended up beating Charlotte because because Natalia and Becky Lynch were talking shit at Charlotte when she was outside the ring, and then Dana Brooke tossed Charlotte in the ring, and she ended up hitting her with the Rampage. And then Charlotte says that if you want to be around greatness, you have to start winning. If you want to be my protege, because you and Emma failed to take over the Divas division or the Women's division. I like I said, since it's been a while since I watched. It was Divas when I stopped watching. Now I have to get transitioned to calling it the Women's division. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but my aunts and uncle's neighbor actually trained Charlotte. She knows her by Ashley Flair because she trained Charlotte and knows her really well because she trained her in gymnastics, which is a really interesting fact. So that's actually pretty cool. Anything else that happened that the New Day came out. They cut a funny promo talking about the tag title match coming up. I thought that was hilarious. They made fun of Kofi Kingston's shoes because he was wearing some nice sneakers and stuff. And then Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy come out, and you could just feel it. Because these were the most two entertaining teams, one on NXT and one on the main roster. And you always wanted to see these two guys cutting a promo together in the same win, and it was awesome. And they were Enzo Amore was talking about how, making sexual references about how he blew the trombone and Francesca too. It was awesome. Like, you can just feel that moment. And the Vaudevillains came out and said they're going to be tag team champions. And Aiden English did his the gimmick that he had before, where he was on Broadway and he was singing a song. Just awesome. And then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come out and say that they're going to just destroy in this whole tag team division's a joke, and they're going to win the tag titles. I just think that it's awesome. Like, I love the tag team division. I love all these teams. I like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson because they're destructive. They're a force to be reckoned with. Vaudevillains are the same thing, but they can also be really entertaining. I love how they talk about how they're the manliest men. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy have that it factor. Have the they just have the it factor, the charisma, and they're decent wrestlers. They're not the best, I would say, wrestlers, but they're decent. And obviously, New Day, still one of the most entertaining things on the show. Like, I'm just loving the tag team division. And they had the 8-man tag team match with the faces, with the New Day and Enzo and Cass teaming up against the Vaudevillains and Gallows and Anderson. And it was a really good matchup. I really enjoyed it. I thought everyone played the roles really well in the matchup. And it made sense that you gave it to the heels for the victory to get one up. And you have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson pin Kofi, just to kind of build them some momentum, saying that there could be a title change, and I can't wait to see that fatal 4-way tag title match. Then you had the segment. Then you had the way they were building up the Money in the Bank ladder match on the show by having a matchup between Cesaro and Sami Zayn, and you had Cesaro, and you had them get interviewed backstage, and you had Cesaro get interviewed and Sami Zayn interrupted, and you had Cesaro be a little bit of a heel, talk about how what you did before you came here means nothing, and how you're still a child, you need to start acting like an adult because you're just doing kid stuff, and you need to be taught a lesson, and he's going to teach him a lesson. And they have the match, and I did like the match. The only thing is, it just kind of felt like they were doing spots in the match. They weren't really telling a story. They were just kind of doing moves. Just for the sake of wrestling. It was just mainly a competition match. And they just had I think they just had way better matches down in NXT. It's going to be tough to top the matches, like the 2 out of 3 Falls match that they had in 2013, and then you had the NXT Arrival match that they had. I don't think that this was that level. If they had been given more time, maybe, but it just kind of felt like they were rushed. And you had Sami Zayn get the victory, which I think makes sense. Because he's kind of like one of the underdogs going into the Money in the Bank ladder match. You want to give him that big victory. And then you have Kevin Owens and Alberto Del Rio bickering at each other, which I do like that everyone in the matchup is kind of having a beef with each other just because everybody wants to win this Money in the Bank contract because you have one chance to get a title opportunity, a guaranteed chance at a world championship. And I liked that. And you had Corporate Kane there all night because people are jockeying to be the SmackDown general manager. Corporate Kane was there, and Kevin Owens and Del Rio aren't getting along. And because Kevin Owens apparently like switched his flight out or something. Because Kevin Owens was going to try to get Del Rio out of the match. I don't know why he cares so much about Alberto Del Rio. I would think it would make more sense for him to go after Sami Zayn since he hates Sami Zayn, or him to go after Cesaro, or him to go after maybe like Dean Ambrose. But I guess he's doing it to Del Rio, and Corporate Kane had them have like a test match where they have to work together to face each other in a tag. What the hell was that? Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard that big bang, but the mirror just fell out of nowhere. It was really weird. I don't even remember what I was really talking about. I was talking about like Kevin Owens and Del Rio. And how they had to work together. They had to face the Lucha Dragons, and if they lost the match, the Lucha Dragons would take their spots in the Money in the Bank match. I like what they did in the match where they had Owens and Del Rio fight the whole match, but they barely win, and I like what they did there. You know, Owens wins, and then Del Rio afterwards lays him out. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, for Del Rio to lay him. I'm really not a huge Del Rio fan, so I'm obviously kind of mad about it, but it does make sense for Del Rio to lay him out because no one probably thinks he's gonna win Money in the Bank. So, and they do another thing to build up the match, but there is another segment I got to talk about first. One thing I forgot to talk about was they did build up Sheamus versus Apollo Crews by having Sheamus have a match with Zack Ryder and pretty much squash him. I mean, Zack Ryder is still pretty much a jobber in WWE. He's not being completely jobbed out this time. He's at least getting to do something in the ring when he wrestles a match, but he's still being jobbed out. It's just, he should just go. Either just go or just stay in NXT because it's just bad. Then afterwards, Sheamus continues to attack him, and Apollo Crews comes running out, saving him. It was what it was. I actually do kind of want to see Apollo Crews versus Sheamus, though, because I'm actually kind of think I was wrong, because I thought originally when Apollo Crews got called up from NXT as quick as he did, it was a little soon. But I think he didn't even need to be in NXT. He was ready to be in the main roster. He has that main roster feel. And I'm just worried because we know when you're a black wrestler or you're not a white, Caucasian, Mexican, or Canadian, you're not going to succeed in the WWE. Look what happened to, look at all the black male wrestlers. They give them all truth type gimmicks where they're dancing and jiving. Xavier Woods when he first came in, Kofi Kingston, Big E, kind of stuff like that, and Titus O'Neil, they even could push, but they're not really doing anything with him. Apollo Crews is there. Is a chance to make a first ever black WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I think that's the direction they need to go. I hope that Apollo Crews does succeed because I think he's pretty talented. I like it. He's a big guy that's really agile. He's just, I think, has it. And I like to see him succeed in WWE. And they're booking him really well right now, where he's serious, he's not dancing, he ain't jiving, and he's just booked really strong. But like I said, I haven't seen WWE, the current stuff, so I could be wrong. And then they had the Ambrose Asylum with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and they really built this up to saying this was the first time that the Shield had been together in the ring, all three members, and they built it up by showing the stuff from the past, like when they turned on, when they debuted, when they when they debuted, and like when they turned on Evolution, and just all the destruction from the past. And they even talk about some of that stuff where Seth Rollins says, like, we had great matches with the Wyatts, we had great matches with Evolution, we sent Batista back him and made him a movie star. We laid out everybody. We had great times together, but my favorite times was when I took took a chair to the back of Roman Reigns and cashed in the Money in the Bank contract on him. And Seth Rollins talks about too how he is the rightful champion. Like Roman Reigns earned the title. He beat Dean Ambrose in the finals in the tournament. He took down Sheamus. He took down Triple H at WrestleMania. But he never beat him for the title. He never lost his title. He got injured. And he even talked about, too, how if Roman Reigns, that if it wasn't for Seth Rollins letting him join this year, it'd be nothing. And if he didn't get injured, he would have never been champ. And Roman Reigns says that he earned this, and he says that he wants to beat Seth Rollins to prove that he is better than him. And I love the video package, too, I should mention, that they did for building up to this match. And then, trying to think, like, Roman Reigns even says, like, was turning on us really worth it? Was it worth being famous? Because we were your boys. We were family. Just give me a minute. And then, they ask who could be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, but Dean Ambrose said it could be him. Because, he could win the Money in the Bank contract and cash it on either of them. Which I hope doesn't happen. And afterwards, everyone gets into a brawl. Rollins shoves Ambrose into Reigns, attacks Ambrose. Roman Reigns lays him out with a Superman punch, and Ambrose lays out Roman Reigns with dirty deeds. I did like this segment. I loved it. I thought Seth Rollins was great. Thought he really delivered. I thought Roman Reigns was good. Everybody has been clapping on Roman Reigns, but I think lately he's been delivering. He's been delivering good matches in the ring, and he's not talking as much. He's been limited with his talking, which is great. Dean Ambrose was really fucking annoying, though. Like, I don't know what it is about Dean Ambrose anymore. Like, I'm going to talk about him later on, but he was really annoying. Like, I'm just not digging Ambrose. He was just making a joke out of this thing, and it was just, I don't know. And then we had the contract signing with John Cena and AJ Styles, and everyone talked about, Cena was talking about how this is a dream match. Everybody wanted to see this match, and AJ Styles was told he was never good enough to be in WWE. He wrestled all over the world, and he mentions all the wrestling companies, obviously, except for TNA. And he says, though, that now he's here, and AJ Styles comes out, and they actually have this face-off, and Cena gives them the opportunity to sign both contracts. One contract is two contracts. One is AJ Styles with the club versus Cena, he can face him one-on-one. And AJ Styles then goes off on Cena, saying that if I had gotten here 15 years ago, I'd be the face of the WWE. I would be doing all this stuff that you did. And he says, Cena says he's seen all other indie guys, but you can sign that and be the bitch club, or you can sign that and face me one-on-one. So they signed the contract, and now it's going to be a one-on-one matchup, no outside interference. But I hope that's when AJ Styles beats him clean. And then we had the main event. It was Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. The match was made because Stephanie McMahon got mad that the Ambrose Asylum was brought back, and he laid out Roman Reigns. So they have the main event. And they have Sami Zayn go out there for commentary. So Kevin Owens is upset about that. So she lets Kevin Owens go out there to do commentary, and has Del Rio go out there and be the timekeeper, and says I'll be the ring announcer, just to kind of have everyone in the Money in the Bank match be out there, which I guess was fine. But it's like, why do they have to ask permission to be out there? Like, normally wrestlers just go out there, and it didn't really make any sense that Cesaro was already out there when he had just found out about it minutes ago. It just was weird. Like, literally, he had no clue. He could have just sent his stuff and be back and said, I had my match. It just didn't make any sense. And Ambrose and Jericho had a fine match. It's just like, like I said, I'm really not digging Ambrose. I've seen his past matches. His WrestleMania match was not that good. His match with Chris Jericho at Payback was just passable at best. It was just okay. His Asylum match was terrible. And I get that there was a bad match concept, but still, it was still bad. And, like, everybody craps on Cena and Roman Reigns that they have 5 moves of doom, but Ambrose, I think Ambrose has less moves than Roman Reigns does. The only moves I saw him do was like a tackle into punches, a dive, an elbow drop, clothesline, and the rebound. Well, not even the rebound clothesline. He didn't even hit that. Other times he was either going for like one of Jericho's moves, or he was trying to set up for Dirty Deeds, which failed every time. So it's just like, come on, dude, let's like do other moves, man. Like, I give Cena shit for it, but at least Cena has. I think Cena now has more moves than Dean Ambrose. Like, Dean Ambrose does nothing. And Kevin Owens, I thought, was awesome on commentary. I love seeing him on commentary, just trash everybody and just be the great heel that he is. And Ambrose wins with Dirty Deeds. And Kevin Owens and ambushes him from behind, so all the guys in the Money in the Bank ladder match come in and start brawling with each other. And then Sami Zayn dives over the ropes and takes everybody out, and this leaves Chris Jericho to be able to come, because he's the last one standing, and grab the briefcase from the win. I actually kind of like that they did that, because it shows that even though that you can do all this damage, if you take yourself out, you can you can still, but you can stay in the sidelines and just grab the match and just win. You don't really need to do anything. So I like that. And this Raw was good. I did like this Raw. Thought it built up pretty well to Money in the Bank. They built up the U.S. title match, the Apollo Crews Sheamus match. They built up everything really well, I thought. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm like clogging up all of a sudden. And I thought they did a good job of that. So, yeah, if I had to grade the Raw, I'd grade it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a good Raw. It really did a good job building the Money in the Bank. And I actually want to see the show. I want to see Rollins versus Reigns, Cena versus Styles, and the Money in the Bank ladder match itself. And I want to see, the tag title match. I want to see every match, maybe except like the U.S. title match and the Divas title match. I don't really care much about those matches. So let me kind of do my predictions. I'm just gonna do it right now since I kind of brought up the Money in the Bank show. For the U.S. title match between Rusev and Titus O'Neil, I don't see Titus O'Neil winning, so Rusev will win. For Sheamus versus Apollo Crews should win. I think they should really build him up to be a Royal Rumble contender, to win the Rumble or something. And for the tag title match, give it to New Day. You could give it to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but I think it's a little too soon. I think the New Day should go a full year holding the tag titles. And obviously I know the show already happened, but like I said, I'm talking like it didn't happen. For the Divas tag match, I really don't care. Could go either way. Have Natalya and Charlotte win. No, Natalya and Becky Lynch win by Becky making Charlotte tap out with the what's it called? The armbar. I forget what it's called off the top of my head because it's been that long. And then for the Money in the Bank match, which I said everybody that's in the match, I really don't want to see Ambrose win. I know it would make sense since he's been so close so many times, but it's just like he's not really. I just don't really want to see him win this match because there's so many more guys that deserve it more than him. Del Rio would be boring. Chris Jericho would be cool. He's really been interesting, but it's not his time anymore. He's had his days. If you really want to give it to somebody, give it to I would rather see Owens, Cesaro, or Sami Zayn. I would say give it to either Kevin Owens or Cesaro, because Sami Zayn isn't ready to be a world champion. He just got up from the main roster. So give it to Kevin Owens and Cesaro. They're ready to be Kevin Owens is ready to be a world champion. He has it all right now. He's got it in the ring. He's got it on the mic. He could really just be a great WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And him having that contract would be really cool. It would fit his character. And then you have Cesaro. He's just been there so long, and he's so talented. He doesn't need to, he's not great on the mic, I'll admit, but he's got it in the ring. I think he could be a great WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And then we got Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Title. This one's a tough one to call because you have both guys could really use a victory. Roman Reigns could use it. Seth Rollins could use it. I don't know why Seth Rollins didn't come back as a face, though. Really would have fit his character. I'm going to say, just to throw out a limb, Seth Rollins. It'd be cool to see him come back and win the world title. I'm going to throw out the limb. And then AJ Styles versus Cena. I'm going to pick Styles. He needs to win. Is it likely it's going to happen? I hope so. But AJ Styles needs to beat Cena. They cannot bury AJ Styles. They've had a lot of talent get buried by Cena. They really have something with AJ Styles, so give AJ Styles the big victory. I just lost my voice throughout half this video. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but I'm going to go watch Money in the Bank. I should have the review up for the show by Tuesday, because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back when I watch the pay-per-view. Okay, so now I'm going to finally review Money in the Bank. I finally sat down and watched the entire thing of Money in the Bank from 2016. Not gonna lie, I mean, it only took me so long to watch the show. I think it took me like 3 days to watch the show. Reason why is because I was like I said, I am not just here in North Carolina to watch wrestling. I'm here to have fun. Not that watching wrestling isn't fun, but you know, I'm here to do other things, other fun things, not besides watch wrestling. So yeah, so I'm gonna talk about this pay-per-view and what I'm trying to be better about going forward in the future. Now that I'm kind of back to making videos again, is I'm gonna try not to talk about every match, not to talk about every segment. I'm trying to be a little bit better about that. I want to make my videos shorter. You know, obviously that's not going to be the case for these next few videos, considering the fact that I'm not just reviewing pay-per-views and stuff, but I want the videos to be shorter because I actually would like people to watch the entire thing. And one of the things I've always gotten complaints about was that it was too long, so I'm trying to make them shorter. The thing that's so hard on me about that is I like talking so much that it doesn't work. So let me talk about Money in the Bank. Like I said, I won't go over every match, but I'm not gonna go over what happened in every match, considering the fact that what are you watching it doesn't make any sense. What are you watching the review for? You know, I want it to feel like it is more of a review than of watching the pay-per-view, because then you can just pretty much go watch the pay-per-view. I don't know if I explained that right, but so we had the panel of Corey Graves, Renee Young, Lita, because I think this was when Jerry the King Lawler, I had heard about it, was suspended, so that's why Lita took his place, and Booker T. Corey Graves obviously looked like a wreck. That's why I mentioned it. Like, he looked like a wreck on this show. He really looked like a mess. Looked bad for him. Now, originally they were supposed to have Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin on the kickoff again, but I guess they decided last minute to bump that right up to the pay-per-view, which is good for them because they've been on the kickoff. And they've had a feud. I'll talk about that when I get to that match. So the two matches we did have on the kickoff were two tag team matches. One tag team match with the Golden Truth versus Breezango. I absolutely loved this match, not from an in-ring standpoint, but from a comedic standpoint, because the Golden Truth when the Breezango, which I don't know why they're called Breezango. It's kind of a weird tag team name. Went to give themselves a tan, and Golden Truth messes with it, and they do this whole comedic skit where it shows Breezango peeling, and then the drink, and I think Fandango drinks lotion, and they rub, like, they eat the bananas that you're supposed to use to rub on yourself, and they're taking pictures where the skin is peeling, and the Golden Truth interferes in it. I thought that was hilarious. And then they have to come out and wrestle, like that. I thought that was really fun. I thought that was funny. You know, I thought that was funny that they came out and wrestled like them all peeled. Obviously, this was makeup and stuff. And the Golden Truth actually goes over in a match, which I think now that I think about it, now that they've won a match on this pay-per-view, it made sense for it to happen. They got the first big win on a pay-per-view, and I thought that was cool. You know, all the build-up of them not wanting to be a team, and then they finally become a team. And it wouldn't have made sense if you had them win right away, because they didn't even want to be a team to begin with. So it actually, and tag teams right away when they team up don't win right away. They have to get used to each other when it's a new team. So I kind of like that they didn't have them win right away, and they had them win at a big pay-per-view, and they finally have a big win. So, I mean, I don't even know. Like, I think the Golden Truth, I'm glad that it's something that they've stuck with, I think, since February. So it's January. It was like right after the Royal Rumble, I think. So I liked it. Next matchup was the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys. Kind of sad that these two tag teams are really good. You have the Lucha Dragons, who are good high-flying tag teams, and you have the Dudley Boys, who are 9-time WWE Tag Team Champions, the most decorated tag team all over the world, and they're on the kickoff. Again, they completely jobbed out the Dudley Boys. And I'm glad, I mean, the Lucha Dragons, I can't really say, because Sin Cara got hurt, so then Kalisto had to wrestle by himself, and he was the U.S. champion, so they had to kind of do stuff with Kalisto mainly. I'm glad that the Kalisto kind of is just back in the tag team, because it's not that I don't think he's good singly. I don't think he's ready to be a singles wrestler yet. He is really good as a singles wrestler, but they just kind of threw him. It feels like they didn't really care enough about him. They just kind of threw him in a singles wrestler and put the U.S. title on him to give him something to do. And Kalisto, I think, will be a really good high flyer once again. Just not right now. I think the Lucha Dragons, you should just stick with that and have them at some point win the tag titles. The only problem is this. It's not that I don't like the Lucha Dragons, but it's just they're not. It's not my favorite tag team right now, especially now that they got Enzo and Cass, Vaudevillains, Gallows and Anderson, New Day. You got you got a lot of tag teams that are so they're just kind of in the mix. But this was a really good tag team match, really back and forth. The Dudley Boys doing the pound and ground, really dominating them, and then the Lucha Dragons being the high-flying wrestlers that they are. The styles really mixed together, and you had the right team. I mean, I know it jobs out the Dudley Boys, but the Lucha Dragons are the new up-and-coming young tag team, so it makes sense that you would have them win. Because the Dudley Boys, I'm sorry, I mean, they're there to put over other tag teams. It doesn't really feel as special when they're losing all the time, but, you know. And then we had the actual show itself. The first matchup was the Fatal 4-Way Tag match with the New Day, Vaudevillains, Gallows and Anderson, and Enzo and Cass. Obviously, I love all these teams, and I thought they all had a really good matchup. Enzo and Cass cut their great promo as normal. New Day, same thing. And everybody really, you really had no clue who was going to win this matchup. You know, they could have gone to Gallows and Anderson because of the impact that they were making on the main roster. You could have given it to Vaudevillains as a surprise win. You could have given it to the New Day to continue their reign as tag team champions. You could have finally given it to Enzo and Cass because they have the story where they've never won the tag team titles in NXT and all that stuff. So it really could have gone either way. And the matchup was an amazing matchup. Only problem is, well, was a couple of problems. They do these fatal 4-way tag team matches so often that they don't really,
it just gets repetitive to see him. We see him every WrestleMania. We see him every SummerSlam. So it would be nice if we could get storylines with tag teams, like tag teams with a tag team match with a storyline. Be nice. And there was a couple of miscommunication. There was a couple of mess ups in the match, a couple of botches, like where Luke Gallows kind of was moving a little slow in this match, like he didn't know what he was doing. When Enzo Amore, like Kofi Kingston went for the Trouble in Paradise, but Enzo Amore like ducked too soon or something. And there was a couple of botches in the match. And you had I think the right team won. New Day retains the tag team titles. I think they should go. I think it makes sense. Like I said, I haven't seen anything else by this point, and I don't know what happened, so I'm talking as if this is happening now. You want to have the New Day. I think the New Day, if they have, hopefully they did. I think the New Day should go a full year with the tag titles, and you have them carry the tag team titles for a year and break the record. And then you have sorry, I had to pause the video because I thought my uncle was gonna, because he was working, so I thought he was gonna be on a business call. But anyhow, yeah, I think that the New Day should go a full year holding the tag titles and have a team like either Enzo and Cass, probably Gallows and Anderson break the reign. Then we had the next match on the show was Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, and the match wasn't bad or anything. They always have good matches. It's just the storyline's kind of boring now. It's run its course, and there was no reason for them to have another match. Baron Corbin pretty much won the feud, so I don't know why they would continued it. One funniest spot of the night, and the funniest spot was Dolph Ziggler goes to run off the steel steps, and he almost trips and falls, and the rookie that has only been doing this for like a couple of years has to catch the 6-year veteran, I think they say he is. So I think that's hilarious. But Baron Corbin wins. White guy wins. Just means nothing because he's beaten Dolph Ziggler so many times. And the storyline ran its course. And then we had the Divas match. Or the Women's. I keep calling it the Divas match because it's been so long since I watched this product. And it was the Divas division for so long. I always forget that now the Women's match. Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Becky Lynch and Natalya. It's just an all-right match, just kind of there. Charlotte's team wins when they make Natalya tap out when Dana Brooke accidentally throws, when Dana Brooke throws Becky and Natalya, they collide heads and causes Natalya to tap out. And then afterwards, Natalya turns heel on Becky Lynch. I think that makes sense to turn Natalya heel because she's had so many losses against Charlotte and has never been able to win the Women's Championship, so it makes sense. Then we had Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Yeah, good match. It was a big moment for Apollo Crews. I thought he looked really good in this match. I think he's definitely the next guy to push. Where you do something big with Apollo Crews, you could do huge things. I think he could be the first African American to hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Please, just please. And Apollo Crews looked really athletic in this match. The moonsault he hit from the apron was awesome, and he looked really good in this match. And Sheamus looked really good. And Apollo Crews won. Right guy wins, and I thought that was good. So then, next match was AJ Styles versus John Cena, the dream match, the match that people had waited 15 years for, and what it really delivered. It delivered like it should have delivered. Like I think lived up to expectations. It was definitely the dream match everybody had waited for. Styles and Cena. And, I liked how they booked this match where they had Cena. I don't know if Cena in real life had win rust, but they made Cena look like he hadn't wrestled in a while. And Styles really dominated him. Everything that Cena tried to throw at him, Styles kept countering and countering and countering. And then you had... Cena finally coming, and Cena, everything that Cena tried, whether it was the 5 moves of doom or whatever, Styles would find a counter for it. And, I really liked that. I loved this match. And you have the near falls where Styles would hit the Styles Clash, Cena kicks out, Cena AA, Styles kicks out. I thought both men looked really good in this match, and it's just a phenomenal matchup. And you know, when there was points when Styles missed the phenomenal forearm, I thought like it just looked, you know, like bad. And I thought everybody looked really good in this match. And then you had so yeah, I thought the match between Styles and Cena was, like I said, phenomenal. Like it was tremendous. Like it was everything that that what I expected to see in the match. Just a couple of the biggest problem in the match was the finish, obviously, because when you have a finish to a John Cena match, it never turns out good. So obviously I'm gonna be mad because they literally signed a contract that said that the club can't come out during this match. They can't interfere. It's just gonna be a straight up one-on-one match. So then Cena has Styles up in the AA position. The referee takes a bump, and I knew someone was coming out because usually when the referee takes a bump, somebody comes out. So Cena hits it. He thinks he's won, but then Gallows and Anderson come out, hit the Legend Killer. I think it's the I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but they hit that on Cena, put Styles on him, and referee makes the count, and he wins. Just did not like that finish, just because it was a match that we have waited 15 years for, and that's kind of the best they just came up with a finish like that. And I'm also pissed because they did that finish when clearly they weren't supposed to be out there. They signed a contract. It was just like, why can't Cena ever lose clean? He never loses clean. It always has to be some sort of bullshit why he loses. It's always an excuse. He can't ever lose clean. And at least Styles won, I guess, but like I feel like Cena's probably gonna get his in the end, because Cena always does, because it's a feud involving Cena, and he always gets his in the end. It's how it works when you're in a feud with Cena. It's basic Cena psychology, which isn't really much psychology. Either few things will happen. Either the other guy will win the first match with some shenanigans, and then he'll win like every other match, and the guy will be buried or out of the company. See Wade Barrett, see Rusev, who they're literally back doing the same thing with a year ago. See Boy Wyatt, who you don't even see on television really anymore. I know he's injured. I know he was injured and stuff, but you get what I'm saying. So it's like, why? And then you have a case like Kevin Owens, who beats him clean, and then he's losing to him at the next pay-per-view, and then he's tapping out to a submission hold that Kevin Owens did 100 times better, and pretty much now he's, I guess, in a decent spot, but he literally was in a Intercontinental Championship ladder match that was poorly built up. Then you have a case like Wade Barrett, where he's just made to look like a goof. Nexus loses at you actually have the entire Nexus stable. It loses at SummerSlam. It takes Husky Harris and Michael McGillicuddy to come out there and lay out Cena for Barrett to beat him, and then he's working for Barrett, but at every turn he finds a way to deny Barrett. He's not really a member of the Nexus, and then he's fired at Survivor Series. He comes back and destroys the entire group, makes the entire group look scared of him like he's a joke. And then he literally buries Wade Barrett, and figuratively, under a bunch of steel chairs. And then you have a case like, I can just go on for days and days and days, like Ryback, who was on a really hot babyface run, then he turns heel for no reason, and it's just kind of like, why? You have a case like Zack Ryder, who got buried because of his feud because Cena was in a feud with Kane, and Ryder pretty much got thrown off the stage, and now he's pretty much a jobber. He's not much of a jobber now, but you get what I'm trying to go with. You got a case like I said, I can go on for days and days and days about how it could be something like The Miz. Like before The Miz got into a feud with Cena, he was in the main event. I don't like The Miz, but I'm just saying. Alex Riley's out of the company now. You have Damian Sandow, who is in TNA now. Well, not at the time that this pay-per-view happened. We have Damien Sandow, who was released and pretty much was put into a bunch of gimmicks. Like, it's a pattern with Cena. It's basic Cena psychology. I mean, Bray Wyatt didn't even get into that, you know. Bray Wyatt lost the first match. He won the second match because a little kid saying outside of the steel cage. And then Cena won the third match in a six-man tag. Oh, and don't mind you that the whole Wyatt family couldn't even beat Cena in a handicap match. Like, what's going on? But I digress. But yeah, AJ Styles won. I guess that's good. It continues the feud, I guess. But it's like, it always happens in a feud with Cena. Always has to be some sort of shenanigans for him to lose. Then we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, obviously, I am going to talk about the interview segment with Chris Jericho, Alberto Del Rio, and Kevin Owens because it was phenomenal. Because Kevin Owens was phenomenal. Kevin Owens is just great. I love his lines. He always says, "I bet you just made up that line," or something like that. I love it. And this match, I loved it. You know, not the greatest Money in the Bank of all time, but a really good Money in the Bank ladder match. Problem is, like I said before, we see a lot of Fatal 4-Way tag team matches. Now we also see a lot of Money in the Bank ladder match. Now we also see a lot of ladder matches, a lot of multi-man ladder matches, whether it's a tag team or just a multi-man regular ladder match. And it's like kind of like, why are they doing the Money in the Bank? They already have a multi-man ladder match at WrestleMania every year. Why not just do it for the Money in the Bank briefcase? If they're going to have it at WrestleMania anyways. I mean, I guess I get that they can't get rid of this pay-per-view because Money in the Bank is like a big pay-per-view now, but come on. But I liked it. It was a nice demolition derby, and you actually believe that either of these guys could have won, even Alberto Del Rio, who I knew wasn't winning, but he looked really aggressive in this match. Like he was doing, he does the Warrior's Way to Cesaro. While he was on the ladder, he did the cross arm breaker to Cesaro. Like they killed each other. Everybody would hit the finishers on each other, whether it was Cesaro hitting the uppercuts in the corner a bunch of times, Kevin Owens hitting the cannonball a bunch of times, Sami Zayn hit a double haluva kick, Sami Zayn hit a flip dive over the top rope, And, you know, you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Their history really made this match into wrestling because every time they went to get the briefcase, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens always fought to keep each other away from it. And you have Kevin Owens powerbombing Sami Zayn right onto a ladder that completely took him out of the match. And, you know, you can technically continue with that feud. Plus, it kind of reminds you of that Win of Honor moment when Kevin Owens does it, the Pat Cakes power driver through the ladder. Kevin Owens looked like a beast in this match. He was frog splashing Ambrose while he was on a ladder. He looked like a beast. When they were fighting on the bridge ladders while they were against the ladder and the ropes, I thought that was awesome. And of course, I know Dean Ambrose won. I'm not really that surprised that he won. I didn't really want him to win, obviously, for the reason I said earlier in this video. But I actually, not going to lie, I did feel kind of a big moment when Dean Ambrose did win. I was kind of happy that he won because he had always gotten this close to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and could never get that brass ring, whether it was the Money in the Bank, whether it was the Intercontinental Championship, whether it was the title itself. So in the fact that he finally had that big moment here made sense. And plus, they kind of were pushing him in that direction. He always would come this close against Seth Rollins, Triple H, Brock Lesnar. It made sense. He finally went with Ambrose. Just lately, I haven't been digging him, obviously, lately, because I just think he's gotten lazy in the ring. Because he only does, because everyone, I already mentioned it earlier in this video. But I love the match. I even liked the Dirty Deeds off the ladder by Ambrose. I thought everyone really killed themselves out there and made this a really good Money in the Bank match, which I thought was going to be anyways when you have wrestlers like Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Del Rio, I guess, is good. So, not the best one, though. I think my favorite one, I'm not really sure what my favorite one is exactly because it's been a while since I've seen them all. Probably next year when the Money in the Bank comes around, I'll watch all the Money in the Bank matches itself, but I would say my favorite one's probably the one from WrestleMania 23 when Jeff Hardy does the Swanton Bomb, and it just is a really good Money in the Bank match. But yeah, I love the Money. Yeah, this was a good Money in the Bank match. And then we had Rusev versus Titus O'Neil. I like that they had Titus O'Neil's kids be out there because it was Father's Day, and I love how they utilized them in the match. But other than that, this was not really a good match. This was probably the worst match on the show. I think this was mainly on Titus O'Neil. Just something he seemed like he was nervous in this match. I don't know. Maybe he was nervous because his kids were watching him. Maybe he was nervous because this was his first big match. But I don't know. But Rusev pretty much won, which we knew was going to happen with the accolade, and made him tap out right in front of his kids. And I kind of liked how Rusev was acting in this match when he would put him into mission holds right in front of his kids, and then afterwards he would get on the mic and say Happy Father's Day to Titus O'Neil's kids. And I thought that was good. I thought Rusev was really good in this match. I thought he looked really dominant. It just kind of feels like they're going back in the same direction with Rusev again. And then we had the main event, the match that we've been waiting 2 years for, but we've seen the match before anyways because we've seen it on Raws and stuff. But match we've waited 2 years for, but we haven't gotten because we were supposed to get it at Night of Champions 2014. But then Roman Reigns got injured, and then we were supposed to get it at Survivor Series last year, but then Seth Rollins got injured. It's Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and you could just feel the awesomeness in this match. You could feel the you could feel the hatred, you could feel the intensity, because you felt that these guys hated each other because of their history together. And you had their moments in the Shield, and like I said, when Rollins stabbed him in the back, when Rollins cashed in on him at Mania, when Rollins got hurt, you could just felt like this was a big match to watch. I just think this match would have been better though, in a way, if Reigns was heel and Rollins was face, because a lot of the match in the beginning, Reigns was kind of acting like a heel and Rollins was kind of doing a lot of the babyface stuff. But other than that, this was a really good match. I'm glad we got it. You know, we waited 2 years for it, and I'm glad we're getting it. Well, I'm glad we did get it, and it was awesome. You know, I thought Roman Reigns looked really strong in the match. He did a lot of his good power moves, and I just still don't. I in a way still kind of don't get why people are hated on Roman Reigns, because even though he's not the best on the mic, he doesn't have that charisma factor, but he has that badass feel to him. Like, he has a lot of movesets, I think, that he can do, and he has talent. It's just the WWE is exposing him the wrong kind of talent. I would say lately, though, I've seen something in Roman Reigns. I would say maybe I kind of saw something in WrestleMania 31 when he main evented WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, and I thought he looked really. He showed that he was a badass. He showed resiliency, and he showed that he could be in the main event. And then you know, Extreme Rules happened. He just kind of was and then his feud with Wyatt, and they didn't really set him up too well. And then even though he had good matches with Wyatt, and then I thought, I'm not going to go into it really. I'll talk about it in a different video. But I do think Roman Reigns definitely doesn't deserve the hate that he's getting. I can get why people are hating on him because he didn't wrestle all over the world like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Dean Ambrose, and he's getting all these big opportunities. But it's like, I mean, if I'm looking at a guy that I kind of want to be, because he looks like a badass, you know, he looks like he's really good with the kids. So I think Roman Reigns, I don't know if he's the next guy. You know, I think they kind of pushed him really too fast for that spot. I think they did a lot. I think they rushed him. I think they should have. I mean, but it's like he was on the roster at least for 2 years. He did things like his Royal Rumble moment. You know what? I'm talking way too long about this. But Seth Rollins looked amazing in this match. He had no ring rust, you know, and he's in shape. Like, he looked like he hit the gym when he, like, obviously I didn't watch his 24th thing, but because I never got the chance. I don't even know if it's probably pointless now because I already kind of saw this match and it's kind of to build up to this match. But he looked like he hit the gym, and he looked like he worked extra hard to get back. Like, he looked really good in this match, and I just love Seth Rollins. He is the total package of a guy that belongs in the main event scene right now. And I thought both these guys went out there, gave it all, and especially too after they hit all the moves, like, you know, the frog splash, the power bomb, the Superman punch, the spear, and all that stuff. when they looked at each other, you could feel the intensity, and that's when the match really got going. That's when I really got into this match. You know, you had the spear, you had I even like the spot where Seth Rollins kind of hesitated a bit to do the turnbuckle powerbomb the first time, because obviously he was afraid he was going to get injured. I don't know if that was part of the storyline or what. But then you had the turnbuckle powerbomb into the Superman punch. You had Roman Reigns nearly win with the spear and Rollins kicking out of it. You had Roman Reigns spearing himself through the barricade. Rollins hitting the pedigree Rollins hitting the pedigree the first time. Reigns kicks out. And then at the end, and they're just hitting pedigree and spears, and the spear into the pedigree was awesome. And then Rollins hits the pedigree and just goes over clean as a whistle. No outside interference, no anything. I thought was awesome. You know, Seth Rollins, I didn't think was going to win this match clean, because he never won matches clean. He always needed the authority. So the fact that he went over clean was awesome. And Seth Rollins wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and you think the night's going to be over, but then all of a sudden you hear Dean Ambrose's music hit. And he comes out with the Money in the Bank, cracks Rollins off the skull from behind, and lays him out with dirty deeds, cashes in, wins the matchup. It made sense. They already were kind of going there with Ambrose. It was time to put the championship on him. There was no need for him to carry around the briefcase any longer. It made sense to just do it that night. And I think he might have broken Kane's record, because I think Kane has the record from when from cashing in the fastest, but I'm not exactly sure. But I thought that was awesome, though. And I think, like I said, I definitely popped, because this did a couple of things this night. You know, you had all three members of the Shield. You legitimized the Shield as one of the greatest factions. Because now every member of the Shield has held the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You had Roman Reigns, who has held it 3 times. You had Seth Rollins, who's now a 2-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and now Dean Ambrose. You kind of made the Shield one of the all-time greats, like an Evolution, a Fortune, NWO type faction. And you had you finally had Dean Ambrose finally get payback on Seth Rollins for turning his back on him when he was in the Shield. Because Dean Ambrose would always try to get payback, but Seth Rollins would always come out with the last laugh. And you finally had Dean Ambrose get revenge on Seth Rollins, which is something that should have happened a long time ago. Then you had all 3 members of the Shield hold the championship in one night, which was awesome. You had Roman Reigns go win his champ, Rollins beat him for the belt, then Ambrose cash in on Rollins and win the title. And I did pop when Ambrose won for those reasons. I am a little concerned about how Ambrose is going to be as a champion, because the matches that he was producing and the way he was being featured before he won the championship was not impressing me. Like I said, his WrestleMania match sucked. His payback match with Chris Jericho was just okay at best. And his Asylum match sucked. And he just isn't that interested on the mic. He's so goofy and he's annoying. So it's like, I am going to give him a chance. He does have a chance to prove it. You know, do other moves. Because Roman, like, since the Shield is broken up, Seth Rollins really came into his own. Well, when they first started, I loved Ambrose. And I liked Rollins, and I thought Reigns was good. I liked everybody in the Shield for different reasons. Dean Ambrose was the guy, though, I liked the most, not gonna lie. Then the Shield breaks up. Seth Rollins really comes into his own. He always had it in the ring, but I feel like he gained some sort of mic work, charisma, coming out of the Shield. He had Dean Ambrose, who's obviously was a great talker, really good in the ring. And it was awesome. Roman Reigns was the powerhouse, and that didn't speak that much, and he was the badass. Then you have the Shield breakup. You have Dean Ambrose. You have Roman Reigns, who I think has improved tremendously coming out of the Shield. He's much better in the ring now. He had with his movesets, and he can actually tell a story when he wrestles in a match. And Seth Rollins has it all in the ring, on the mic. He's got everything. And and he's my favorite one of the Shield. This Dean Ambrose, I think it's just gotten worse. Like, he's lazy now. Like, the Dean Ambrose I see now is completely different from the Dean Ambrose in the Shield. His matches aren't as good. I mean, he had a pretty mediocre match with Dolph Ziggler, and everyone can have anybody can have like a good match with Dolph Ziggler, but the fact that his was mediocre was just like eh. So it's just kind of like I hope Dean Ambrose improves, you know, now that he has the title. But I feel like I hope he doesn't get like lazy like CM Punk did and then leaves, which I hate, which would be awful if that happened. So overall, Money in the Bank, I thought was a really good show. I loved everything in the match was everything on the show was pretty good to decent, except for Rusev versus Titus O'Neil. But at least that had some like good stuff by Rusev. Rusev made that a lot more entertaining than it was. The only problem is they tried to hype this up like this was the greatest Money in the Bank of all time. Like it was the best one ever. That is simply not the case. I'll say this one's better than last year's by a mile. I would say this one's better than, I'm not going to say it's better than 2014 because I was at that show live and it was awesome to see, so I can't really, from like kind of like a bias standpoint, I'm not going to say it's better than 2014's. 2013, I would say it's better than that one just because a lot of the matches didn't really deliver on that one. It just kind of, it was a very disappointing show with the build-up that it had to it. I'd say it was a tiny bit better than 2012's, just because 2012's was predictable. This one was a little bit more unpredictable than 2012's. 2011 though, is obviously the best one. It has CM Punk winning the title, Daniel Bryan winning the Money in the Bank contract. Every match has a purpose. Mark Henry and Big Show started Mark Henry's Hall of Pain push. You had Del Rio win the Money in the Bank contract. You know, you had everything except for the Divas match delivered on that show. And then you had 2010, I would say was the best one because you have the Nexus have a big impact on that show. You have Kane win the Money in the Bank and make history by cashing in that night. And I just personally think overall it's a better show. So I wouldn't say it's the best show, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to end this video off because I just talked and rambled forever and ever and ever. This video is probably going to be like 2 hours long, but I don't really care. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back. So now I'm going to talk about the Raws that happened before Battleground and Battleground itself. So stay tuned for that.